Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
Better than a home run derby national anthem, it is Sports Daily. Jacob Albrecht, Tommy Castor with you. Jad Chambers driving the ship, manning the IHOP hotline at 869-1240. We are glad to be here with you on KFH. Maybe you're streaming us on the Odyssey app or KFHradio.com. Maybe you're watching us on video at 12 News Connected, KWCH.com. Glad to have you with us here on this Tuesday. You've got Facebook, you've got YouTube. You can also find us on, still working on a solution to get you back connected on X, but we've got our YouTube link posted there, so you can take that. We got lots of fun stuff to talk about today. The Chiefs training camp begins today, believe it or not. We've got the home run derby from last night and an all-star game tonight, maybe a wish list of trade options for the Royals, all kinds of good things coming for you. Later this week, we'll get connected with the aftershocks of the TBT. That tournament is coming up this weekend. It is the unofficial slowest week on the sports calendar, which is the All-Star break. But we have plenty of things to talk about here, so we're glad to do it for you. We've got some giveaways for you today. We will give away some HTO iced tea and free reign coffee. We will give away some NBC World Series tickets as well. All kinds of good stuff. And again, that IHOP hotline's open for you, 869-1240. Tommy, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How long you had that national anthem joke in the holster? Since last night? You've been workshopping that a little bit?
No, about 13 seconds. Okay. I saw it made a headline. I'm browsing, especially at a time like this, where it's like, okay, what are people talking about here? What's out there? And it's like the top story at CBSSports.com. And I watched the anthem. I noticed it as I was watching too.
I thought maybe we could play a clip of it to kick off the show. And then I figured that'd be a really quick tune out. So probably not the best idea.
Yeah, no, that wasn't something planned. It was just like, oh no, I wasn't the only one here. I noticed because I wasn't on there last night, like following along but of course everybody thought the same thing yesterday.
How bad was it? Because I didn't see the anthem and I don't want to listen to it.
It was rough. It was
like
not
Carl Lewis
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad thing
I wouldn't
about
say
it,
Roseanne, because Roseanne's was on purpose. So
the worst thing about it is the gal that sang it is like a legitimate singer. Like it's, Carl Lewis is not a singer.
Yeah,
Roseanne Barr is not a singer. I don't even know her name, but
Bad Night.
She's
she's 4-time Grammy nominee. It's a bad night.
Just a bad night.
I hate even bringing it up because I can't sing, and so I don't like giving anybody a hard time. But what the hell? Why not? It was bad. Like it was pretty bad.
Okay.
And I was listening to it. And I even we were we're working through our remodel, trying to move stuff around in the kitchen, and I kind of looked at my wife and I was like, that was one of the worst I've heard. That wasn't good. And, it probably isn't a direct reflection of her talent, just that particular performance or rendition. Maybe she was trying something there, workshopping a few things, but no, it didn't work. So we'll try to be better than that today here on the program. That'll be our goal for Sports Daily on July 16th, as we are in this strange time on the sports calendar. This is it. But it's a short, brief period this year, at least. We get the Royals right back at it. We get TBT this weekend. We get Chiefs training camp starting this week. So it's not really that slow for us. The college football game is out. Tommy, you texted me yesterday, and I swear we've talked about this about 4 times on this show. You really thought you were going to be able to play the game on your.
I thought I would
on your broke. This is the problem. I've already griped about this. Like I want to be excited about it too, but I can't play it because I have a PlayStation 4. And a Switch for my kids, and I don't feel like spending $500 and then another 100 or whatever it is on the game just to be able to play it. Sorry, like I can't justify that as much as I love that game like everybody else does. Did that many people have the newest gaming systems of our age group?
Maybe not of our age group. And I thought that, I know that my system is not the newest, but I didn't think that it was, like a Super Nintendo or anything. I've got an Xbox One. I've had it for,
which is probably the equivalent of my PlayStation 4.
I've had it for like 6 or 7 years, I think. I don't remember exactly when I got it. And I feel like that's still, I've played all my other games. Like Major League Baseball. I'm a fan of that game. The Show, which just became, I think, a couple of years ago, available to play on Xbox. It had been a PlayStation exclusive for a long time. Finally able to play it on my Xbox One. I just downloaded a new version of it like a few weeks ago for this season, and I thought that college football, EA Sports College Football 25 would be available on my Xbox One. It is not, and I'm devastated.
What, available only on Series X or S?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah. And so I went through, and I know I wasn't one of the pre-order people. Otherwise I would have known this ahead of time, but I was just looking it up yesterday. I'm like, all right, it's going to drop for us regular people on Friday. If you had the pre-order, you could play it yesterday. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get everything ready to go so I can download it on Friday. And come to find out, I don't have it. I have to buy a brand new system.
But how are you really going to buy a brand new system just to play the game?
As much as I want to play it, I'm not going to go buy a brand new system. My Xbox One, every other game that I've wanted to play is available on there. So why would I go get a brand new system for one game?
Jad, you're a gamer. How long have those systems been out? The ones that can play this, the next round?
It's been a little while now, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. No, it's more than a year because I've had my Series S for about a year now. In fact, almost exactly a year, because I bought it during the Amazon Prime Day, and that's like today, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Amazon Prime Day starts today.
Yeah, so I've had it for exactly a year, my Series S. So it's been at least a year or two.
And they still are the exact same price, right? They haven't dropped a penny. That's the way I understand it. Like, I'm usually
more or less. I got mine at a discount because of the Amazon Prime thing, but yeah.
But my life now, like, I'm like, I don't have to have it now. I'll just wait. I'll wait like a year and it'll be $200-300 less. But that hasn't happened with these things. So I don't even use. So the problem, I don't even use the PlayStation to play games anymore because I know how invested a time commitment that can be. So I have to be careful because once I start, like, I can't stop. And so we use it just to like stream videos. Like, you know what I mean? Like it allows us to get to, all the video streaming stuff. I don't play games on there. I haven't in a long time because we have a Switch now because of my kids. I have 3 young kids. We play the Switch. Like, we played Mario, all the new Mario games, Mario Kart and that kind of stuff. But like, can't they dumb down a version for us, to be able to play it on Switch? I've been mad about that for a long time. I thought you knew that because I've griped about it before.
The problem is that, I don't get to play games as much as I maybe used to. I mean, of course, before kids and all of that, there'd be times I'd come home from work, and even when I was married, I'd be like, all right, honey, I'm going to go play. And I would just completely like decompress. I'd play Madden for 4 or 5 hours, and I would just like be in my own little world doing that. Or I would play the show, or, I had a handful of other, mainly sports games that I would play. But now, my Xbox sits there, and every once in a while, if I'm lucky, I can grab it for an hour and I can go play a game. It doesn't happen very often. And so because of that, I'm not going to go and invest in a brand new system to be able to play one game.
One game. I know. That's the thing. It's not, it might be the best thing ever, but is it worth $600?
Right.
No, I don't think so. So I'm not with, and I've heard a lot of people our age talking about it. I'm like, do you guys all have the new system? I kind of feel like, or at least I felt like we got left behind on the last round. Like, all right, that's it for us. Like, we're done. Like, it passed us because now this next one, it's another expensive one. We don't have all the time in the world. So I guess a lot of people still have it, but I do not. And I'm just,
Microsoft did it strange because you've got Tommy's Xbox One, and then you had the Xbox One S and One X. And then you have the Series S and Series X, and those are all different things. That's like 5 different consoles.
Yeah.
But they all sound exactly the same.
I posted about it last night on X, and somebody responded to me and said that, my Xbox One is the equivalent of back then having an Xbox 360, which you can miss me with that. Like, I had an Xbox 360. I loved that machine. I would have continued to play it, but then it actually became to a point to where no more games were being issued on that platform, and I had to upgrade. And eventually, maybe I'll be at a point in my life where I can play a little bit more. down the road. But it will change things when the majority or all of games are not being produced for the platform that I have. That's not the case right now.
So I'm looking at PlayStation 5 right now. You guys are talking about Xbox. I don't know anything about Xbox. I have a PlayStation.
PlayStation did
4.
make it easier.
I have a 4
in their
I think.
schemes. Yeah.
I have to have a 4. I got a 4. I still have right behind me here. I still have the old ones. There's like that's one of them. So that's probably like a 2. That's probably
There's a Sega Dreamcast right there.
There's a Dreamcast.
You have a
down there. You
Dreamcast?
can't
Look at
see it,
that.
Jed.
Yeah.
Right there.
Heck
Right
yeah.
down there, even better than that, Jed, is the Sega Saturn,
All
which
right.
is down there,
Ooh.
which is my all-time favorite system.
Did you ever
by
have a
the way.
Sega Game Gear? I had one of those when I was a kid. I didn't have a game.
Yeah,
I wasn't a
we
Game
did for
Boy
a minute.
guy. I was the
We
Game
did.
Gear
We did.
person. And,
Yeah,
and
no,
you
we
had to
had
have
Game
like
Gear.
a luggage piece to carry
we
all
were-
the games with it.
We were team Sega growing up. I still remember like my favorite purchase probably I have ever made in my life was the Sega Saturn. My brothers and I that was like 1990, probably 7 or 8, I bet. So I was, 11, 12 years old. And my 2 older brothers and I, we were the only ones that played games. My 2 oldest brothers didn't really play any games. So we had the Sega and we had like 50 games, because we had our Sega and this thing came out and we went to, what was it called? Walden
Walden
Do
Books.
you remember that store?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they sell video games?
I'm
A
sure they
store
did.
like that. So we go in and we trade everything we own, like everything we own, all the stuff, all the controls, all the games. And I'm sure they gave us like, I don't know, $50. And we took all the money all 3 of us had and spent like the $400 or whatever for that Sega. It's like biggest thing any of us had ever done. And I'll never forget it, not only because of that, but because on the way home, we hit a dog. And so it was like the highest high and the lowest low all in one moment. But we had World Series baseball for it. And I bet we played that until our fingers bled. And that was back in those. And so I get it, like for people to like go nuts and buy that. It's just not for me anymore. But yeah, I still have a Sega Saturn. It's sitting right down there. I can't justify buying a PlayStation 5. I'm looking online right now. There's still $450.
You know how I got on the
$450. These things have been around at least a couple of years.
how I got on the Xbox train was I was out of college and I think I don't even remember what I had at the time. I might have still been playing a Nintendo 64. I don't really know. Maybe I didn't even have a console and I wanted to get into it. I wanted to start playing Madden. I wanted to do all of that. And I played games when I was in high school, middle school, but then I kind of took a break. And I remember like for, I think my birthday or Christmas one year, my parents asked me what I wanted. I did no research at all. I just knew I wanted a gaming console. And I said, an Xbox or a PlayStation, either way, like it doesn't matter either way. And, it was just left up to, they chose an Xbox for me. And then I've just done Xbox ever since.
I think I had an Xbox in college for just a minute. It's irrelevant to me. I tend to like the PlayStation stuff more, I guess, clearly. I don't even remember why.
There have always
I never
been more
did get
games available on PlayStation than on Xbox. I had to wait for
Maybe that's
years and
why.
years to be able to play the show
Oh,
for Major
I'll
League
tell
Baseball.
you why. It's
They
the
finally
show.
made
It's
it.
the show.
They finally made like 2 or 3 years ago, finally made it available for Xbox. And it was kind of the same way. Like I suffered through not having the show. I didn't go out and buy a PlayStation to play one game. I'm not going to go and upgrade my Xbox in this situation to play one game. Man, I waited like a decade to play the show and I never broke down and bought a PlayStation to be able to do it. I waited them out. And so I'm not going to do the same thing, when it comes to this college football game.
That's why I got the PlayStation 2 and 3 or 3. It was because of the show. That's why. Now I remember. And so
it was a
I'm with
Sony
you.
exclusive. They did not make it available for Xbox.
I like a lot of I like sports games, but I like a lot of the like old school, like long story. Like obviously I love video games, but I'm good with where I'm at. Like I'm good, playing the old ones that I still hang on to or playing the Switch with my kids. Like I want to play that college football game so dang bad. And I know it's going to be awesome and a blast. And I would just be able to spend tons and tons of time with it and would love it. And it would be amazing, but I'm not going to go spend $500 to be able to play it. And so I'm just kind of stuck while everybody else gets to have all the fun. and that I'm glad you're with me. I fully thought that you would have had that and already played it. So we'll suffer at the same time, I suppose. Maybe we'll just ask everybody else that comes on the show if they've played it.
Yeah,
and they'll
bad
all
thing
say
is
yes.
if neither you or I are going to play it, we won't be able to give any kind of feedback, any kind of review on it. Jad, are you going to play it? Are you going to get the college football game?
I suppose I could, but I'm probably not going to buy it. It's not that I don't like it. I like the Maddens and I like the sports games, but they've kind of progressed to a point where I don't have the I just don't have the kind of interest to sink that much time into them anymore. I preferred them back in the early 2000s. They've just gotten a little too real. I kind of like the idea of it being a video game. Yeah.
I can't really play the actual games very well like that anymore. But I would do all the what is it, Dynasty or whatever.
Yeah,
I would do that. But playing the game, now everybody plays them online. I'm like, no. I'll never. One of my buddies, when I was this would have been probably a decade ago now. What are the really popular shooter games, Jad?
Right now, like
Call
Fortnite
and Call of Duty. No, way before Fortnite. I'm that stuff's passed me by too. Is Fortnite even on a console or is that a computer game? I don't even know. I just know everybody plays.
It's on just about everything.
So I tried that Call of Duty thing, and I would go through the regular computer mode things. And I had a buddy who was like, "No, jump online." Well, and I'm like, I don't even know if I can jump online. Can I jump online? And so I figured out how to hook it up, and I played and I died every 5 seconds. And I was like, this sucks. Why would anybody do this? I would die and then I'd pop back up and I'd be dead in 1 second. I'm like, how is this fun for anybody?
I remember when I first got, I think the Xbox One, I thought, and I was playing Madden. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to actually, for the first time ever, I'm going to get online. I think there was an extra monthly subscription, Xbox Live, I think is what it was. Bought that subscription so I could go online. I'm like, I'll play against people online. It'll be fun. And I had the little headset. I'm going to try it out with the microphone. And man, I just got trash talked by 9-year-olds the entire time. And they were beating me badly. I'm like, this is not fun. Why am I paying $19 a month for this? So I stopped playing online. I kept paying the subscription for a while because I'm like, well, maybe there are other features. Literally the only thing that it did was when I was playing a game, it would match the weather outside currently. It would take the weather forecast in Wichita. And so if it was raining outside and I was playing a Madden game, it would be raining on my game. That was the only thing that it did. I'm like, okay, I'm going to cancel this subscription. I don't need it. But yeah, that was the only time I'd ever really played online, and I just got beat badly by a bunch of 9-year-olds.
It's amazing. I never would have thought, because I played way too many video games growing up, right? And we're not of the generation now where it's online gaming and gamers. No, we were just whatever. We just love video games. We're not in that generation, I don't think, where kids are getting college scholarships for this stuff, where they do those kinds of things really well. They play online against each other. We were just we wasted way too much time on the dumb, simple games. So I can't even imagine now, and I'll find out. I never would have thought there would have been a time I would have been passed up in video games. Happened a long time ago. I like the games, Jad and I talk about the games, Fallout, because they put that show out. I like those kind of games. Tell me a good story. Let's chill here. I don't need some, nerd, no offense, nerds, out there just blowing me away, trying to no, I gotta be able to go at my own pace with these things. But I do still like video games. I play the Switch with my kids all the time.
The last non-sports game that I really got into, I was a Grand Theft Auto guy for a number of years when I was in college. Game. It was just I'm gonna try to find a way to wreck the car and get arrested and have helicopters chase me down. I was I really wasn't playing the actual missions, and I'm just gonna go and take a baseball bat to somebody on the sidewalk.
Yeah. No, that's a good game too. I think they made another one of those too, didn't they, Jad? Aren't they doing that again? Then that coming back, or maybe it never went away?
No, it never really went away. There's been a bunch of them. Yeah.
It's fine. Jason says on our YouTube that it's once he had kids, he never had time. And that's what it is. Yep. Although I will say, when our kids were first born and we were just up all night feeding them, video games were a godsend. That's what helped keep me awake. because we just like through that where you're running on like 2 hours of sleep. I would try to zone out. Anyway, I'm not sure about that rabbit hole, but
Jason
we went down it
brings up an interesting point because he says maybe I can loan you my system and you can try things out. Actually, interestingly enough, it wouldn't be a terrible time to do that. The last 2 games I just bought that I'm still playing right now are on Switch. And so basically, I bought Oxenfree 2 and a remake of a whole bunch of older role-playing games, Secret of Mana.
I might have to get with you on that because I like those kind of games too. I haven't heard of either of those, so I'm gonna off the air. You can
Oxenfree. I don't think you'll like because it's very Twin Peaks like. It's survival-y horror-ish.
Like Twin Peaks the restaurant.
No, like Twin Peaks the.
He would love that.
The television show.
Like, what are you assuming here?
Yeah. No, Twin Peaks the television show. So yeah,
I got you. I don't even know what that is. Okay.
Oh,
we're gonna figure this out. We'll play the game at some point. All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the home run derby last night. Bobby Witt Jr. that close. Alec Boehm that close. I loved the derby last night. I thought it was awesome. We'll get into it. Teoscar Hernandez, the guy nobody was talking about, of course, is your winner. I thought my Boehm bet might pay. I thought he had him. Man. We'll come back. We'll talk about the derby next.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Hey, our thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for fueling us up at the Odyssey Studios there, KFH. Chad and Tommy got a nice cup of Prairie Fire Coffee going right now. We had an email from a coworker at K-Witch. Of course, we're on 12 News Connected now, listening to our console discussion. He says, Rami says, Splinter Cell was his thing that made him have
I used
Xbox.
to play Splinter Cell back in the day. It required so much patience. You had to sneak around. You had to be really quiet. You couldn't there are those games where you're just going nonstop full speed ahead. Splinter Cell was not one of those games. I had a lot of fun playing that game back in the day.
Oh man. I love it. It's so nostalgic too. I love talking about this stuff because, well, A, we have room on the show for this kind of stuff right now, and we're about to not soon with football coming. But it's such a we are the video game generation, and then now it's been taken to this next level, and we got passed up. And so what is the next generation? What are the 20 and 20-year-olds now who are still really into it and good, that next generation behind us? It's probably gonna be virtual reality. Have you done virtual reality yet?
The augmented reality deal with the meta deal? I haven't.
Yeah.
No.
If I'm
not gonna upgrade my console, I'm not buying a AR.
No. I'm not
thing
buying
too.
it. But when I go home for Christmas, some of my nieces and nephews will have one, and it is just absolutely insane. Not only is it ridiculous if you don't have the headset on, you're watching somebody play. You get on there and you do we are headed to the Matrix between AI and all this stuff. We're on our way. I don't know what's going to hold us back, but it's coming. We're just all going to just sit in a chair somewhere with a feeding tube and live in pretend land. And I think that's not a good thing. I don't know. Maybe it is. Would you rather be in the Matrix or out of the Matrix? Seemed pretty okay inside there versus what was going on outside, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's talk about the home run derby last night. Heck, maybe we're in the Matrix right now, according to some people. We're at the home run derby last night. Boy, that seemed like a computer simulation because Alec Boehm and Bobby Witt Jr. both just within feet missed of extending it. You had two swing offs, basically. It's sort of what it turned into for Bobby Witt Jr. with Teoscar Hernandez at the end there because he just needed that one. That was awesome. It was great. I thought the new format's definitely better. And what did I say yesterday? Absolutely incorrectly. I just didn't know if Bobby Witt Jr.'s, swing really translated out. But these guys can alter it. Alec Boehm certainly did not. So I was the longest odds, but they had all the great conversations, if you had the volume on in the home run derby last night, about how he's like, well, I never get to do this. Like now I get to try to hit home runs. I don't do that in a game. And so that was interesting to see it. But Bobby Witt Jr., like that wasn't his normal swing either. He was much shorter in the swing, obviously trying to elevate it. And you hope that's not stuff that carries over, but he was hitting missiles. That was fantastic. Teoscar Hernandez, I got no issue with Teoscar Hernandez. The Vladdy Jr. thing was nice. It was fun to sit there and see him just keep sitting there with, I assume his wife or his girlfriend, and just like how much fun they were having and how much they enjoyed it. Bobby Witt Jr., like trying to contain himself while Buffer was reading the Let's Get Ready to Rumble was probably my favorite thing of the night. He's just got like that little kid grin on his face, like looking around, like, is anybody else seeing this right now? I thought it was awesome. I loved the Derby last night.
I think Bobby Witt Jr. solidified his place as one of the new stars of Major League Baseball with last night. And I think that he had, done that before. I don't think it was just the home run derby that put him over the edge. But on top of that, I do think that just being on that national stage, getting all the way to the finals, a lot of people know Teoscar Hernandez. I like Hernandez. I've always liked the way that he's played. He's got pretty good name recognition across Major League Baseball. Getting Bobby Witt Jr., to get all the way to the finals against him and push him and almost be able to get it done, tells me that Junior's right there. I mean, he's going to be somebody, as the flag bearer for Major League Baseball for a long time to come. Man, I'll tell you, the format works. I was confused even before it started exactly how it worked. But then once it actually got going, I'm like, okay, like this makes a whole lot of sense to me. I like it. It adds to the intrigue. I'm perfectly good with it. And I just think that, one nice thing about what Bobby Witt Jr. showed, and I'm not suggesting that he's going to, change his swing up in the actual games that he plays, but the power was on full display. Absolutely it was. And we've known that he could absolutely get a ball flying 450 plus, like that's just something he's got the strength for that. But seeing him do it over and over and over again, I think I mentioned it yesterday that Bobby Witt Jr. is, I think kind of known around baseball, or was known around baseball, as a great all-around hitter. He absolutely is. I think you can look at him in that, sort of view as a great slugger as well. And that's probably a part of his game that the longer that he's in Major League Baseball will continue to go around. I don't think it's out of the question, maybe not this year, but in future years, to see Bobby Witt Jr. potentially challenge, for like a home run lead, in the American League or whatever. And he's going to do a lot of other things too in his game, but just watching the way that he hit those home runs last night, he's got it all.
I mean, he had 20 and 30 home runs. He's on pace for 27 this year. The evolution of his game this year, and it's not even close, is his batting average, right? Like he's still striking out at basically the same clip he always have. He's going to steal as many bases as he always has. He's going to have, he's on pace for quite a few more doubles, but not as many home runs as last year, which is interesting. But it comes because his average is just climbing at an insane clip, and so are his runs scored. So it's almost happening in kind of reverse of what you might like, where that power might come later. It's like the power came early, and now he's learning how to be a hitter, right? I never saw him. I mean, he's batting .323 right now. We've talked about it on this show. I was like, man, if Bobby Witt Jr. could ever get his average up around, like 290, 285, like he's going to be the best player in baseball. Well, he's way ahead of that now. So if he becomes a 320 hitter, I mean, he's gonna be like Trout, I think. And I don't know if his power is going to get there, but if he continues to develop as a hitter, I think for as strong as he is, it probably will just happen on its own. You know what I mean? Like if he continues to pile up hits and doubles and the things that he's doing this year, like as he continues to mature and develop, he's still 24. Hitters historically don't enter their physical prime, I don't believe, until 26, and then it goes from like 26 to 32 or something like that. He could definitely, I mean, he hit 30 last year. So what's the ceiling? 40? Does he ever have a 50 home run season in him? I think he's got the power for it. I think you saw that last night. But I'll tell you this, like, I'd much rather see him as a 320 hitter that hits 30 home runs and then does all these other things he's able to do within that than to be a 275 hitter that hits 50 home runs. Now, I don't know which of those is technically more valuable in the analytics world. I guess it depends on, where he hits in the lineup and what's around him. They may need him to be a power hitter by that point, but who knows? It was awesome. He was on center stage. I thought his energy was contagious last night. And I'll bet you there are a lot more Bobby Witt Jr. fans than there were 2 nights ago because of just how much he enjoyed that. Like, that's the thing. Sometimes you get into these derbies and everyone's mad because Shohei's not in it. Like, there was a first-time effect for a lot of those guys last night. Adolis Garcia didn't make it through, which was really disappointing because he was red hot out of the gates, but his energy was there. Gunnar, like even the guys that didn't make it through, like their energy was there. That makes it better. That makes it more fun, I think, than seeing the same group of sluggers just get out there and take another crack at it, even though they all want to win it. What did Teoscar Hernandez win? $1 million last night on that thing?
Big old trophy.
Like, it's not,
and the chain.
It's not like they don't want to win it. Of course they want to win it. But it was great. I thought it was I get stuck in the moment on these things. I want to say it was the most fun derby of the last handful of years. I certainly like the format, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I like getting the distance extra bonus out thing. Like, I liked everything about the changes they made to it. I think the one thing, the next evolution that would make that thing even better is if you mic'd those dudes up while they were at the plate. Like, mic them up and let them just kind of have conversations as they're working their way through. How much fun would that be? But well represented here locally. We had Bobby Witt Jr. in the final. We had Alec Boehm right there. He was the guy. If he hadn't had to wait so long, I think he would have probably won that thing. I mean, that gap in between the beginning and the end, because once he got back in a groove in that second round, he was on fire. I think if he doesn't have that long gap, he probably would have won that thing. And he was like, to see him change what he does as a big leaguer was pretty wild too.
And I don't think anybody should be surprised. I mean, you remember some of the bombs that he hit when he was here in Wichita. I mean, as a shocker, like, I remember some of them he was a great all-around player, obviously. And, he's now an all-star for that very reason. But I just remember when he was a shocker, just some of the absolute missiles that Alec Boehm hit. And so I understand that that's not like, he's not a major slugger in Major League Baseball now at this point in his career. And he did change, the way he swings the bat for the home run derby. But I don't think anybody should be surprised, because if you watched him when he was here in Wichita, he did that sort of thing a lot.
Yeah. Well, he was as good. I mean, that's why it was such a high draft pick. He was.
But he hit absolute missiles a lot when he was here in Wichita.
Yeah. It was good stuff. But I like the derby. I hope the All-Star game follows suit. I think it will. I don't know if I'll be quite as locked into the game itself as I was the derby last night, but I do enjoy the All-Star game. It is my favorite. I come in and out of it. They mic everybody up. You get the pitcher versus hitter mic up thing that they continued last year. They've done such a good job with it, and I'm sure it will continue. We can go back to that if you want to chime in on the derby. 869-1240. The IHOP hotline is open. Let's start with our HTO giveaway here today, and we'll do a text to win contest. You can win a free iced tea, more than 20 flavors coming your way, and some free Rain coffee. All you got to do is text the keyword T, T-E-A, to the short code 20357. You can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. That's T to 20357. Good luck, everybody. We'll come back. More Sports Daily. We've got the Chiefs reporting to training camp. We've got Devontae Adams to the Jets rumors, which I think are really, really interesting. Lots to get to today, and we'll do it. We'll also kind of, wish list a little bit for the Royals. What could they do? It's all coming for you on Sports Daily.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now, live breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchatkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Daily here on KFH. Glad to be here with you on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday where we get quarterbacks and rookies reporting to Chiefs camp. On a Tuesday following an exciting home run derby. On a Tuesday before the All-Star game for Major League Baseball. It is also trade season in Major League Baseball and perhaps the NFL. Just a couple of minutes here, Tommy, so we'll take one of the more brief topics we'll probably have today. Davante Adams, the rumors are swirling that he may reunite with Aaron Rodgers at the Jets. I think this is relevant to us for a couple of reasons. A, he's in the division the Chiefs play in right now. But if he goes to the Jets, I got to tell you, Davante Adams goes to the Jets. If that ends up happening, the Jets, and I know you can't really proclaim anything with the Jets because we don't know how healthy Aaron Rodgers is, or if he can still play at the same level. We haven't seen him play football in a long time. But, man, if he's even close, they had a guy like Davante Adams go with Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. I think that makes them a contender. Davante Adams is still really good. He was good last year when he wasn't hurt. So I think you have to look at that and say that could be a seismic AFC shift type of thing if they're able to pull that off.
Yeah, I still think that, we're maybe a little bit of a ways away from something like that happening. And Boomer Esiason on WFAN, part of the Odyssey family, mentioned that just the other day, yesterday, in fact. He said that it looks like he's hearing that a trade would probably take place in late August or early September, basically right before the start of the season. So you're not going to have, a whole lot of time to get him ingrained in the offense, but at the same time, he's had that long relationship with Aaron Rodgers. And so I don't know if you really need it necessarily, but at the same time, you've got like different players also. It's not just Rodgers and Adams that you've got to get, Adams accustomed to and all of that. So we're talking about literally, if it happens, potentially right before the season begins.
It shouldn't matter too much. I don't think there's enough continuity there. The timing of it anyway, depending on what they could get back out of it. And I don't know how they could maneuver because he's got a huge cap number, but if the Jets can pull it off, you'd think it would make some sense. If there are only a handful of teams that you would say are like in a rebuild mode. I think the Raiders would be one of them.
I think the hard thing about it, and what I'm having a hard time figuring out in my mind, is what's the appeal for the Raiders to trade Adams? Because if they move him,
to acquire picks,
but if they move him, they've got to take on a lot of dead money, and that's a big sticking factor. And this wouldn't be the first time that the Jets have allegedly reached out to the Raiders about acquiring Davante Adams. They've tried to in the past, and they've been turned down. So things change over time, but I just don't know if the Raiders are going to be able to get what they feel like they deserve. To be able to move Adams out of town.
I'd tell you, if you're the Jets, going all in on a move like this would make absolute and total sense. What do the Jets have to lose at this point? The Jets are as all in. Is there a more all in team? I know Jerry Jones, that's his line of the offseason. He's clearly not. They're not all in with the Cowboys, or they would have done anything in the offseason, which they did not. But if you're the Jets, you are absolutely all in right now with Aaron Rodgers. So if it doesn't work this year with Rodgers, you're going to have to some degree, blow it up anyway. And they still have a lot of talented young players there. But in the sense of a Super Bowl window, this is it for them. So why wouldn't you do something like that? You've already started that process, right? It's not, I wouldn't go giving away first round picks 4 years down the road. But if you're talking about just next year in the draft, you've got to go for it this year. You have to. And so I get it from the Jets' perspective. Just what's your asking price? You want a first? We'll give you a first.
I think they've got to get. If you're the Raiders, I think you got to get at least a first, and for next year, and maybe even a second or a third in future years. Maybe not necessarily next year specifically, but I think if you're going to go picks,
they have heavy, a first next year. They have a first.
I think if you're going to go picks heavy, you're probably looking at, I would think, multiple high round draft picks. That's what I would want if I'm the Raiders, because again, what's my motivation to move him if I'm not going to get everything that I want in return. Just have him continue to play for the Raiders. And I know he's not happy. It was, reported.
I don't think he's unhappy. I don't think he's unhappy.
I think
he just would like to play with Rodgers.
Yeah, and I think that he thinks that he'd probably have a better opportunity elsewhere
Sure.
and with Aaron Rodgers. And I totally get that. I'm not sure that, if you were to ask him honestly, if he would have a ton of positive things to say about his tenure with the Raiders. I know he had a lot of negative things to say about Jimmy Garoppolo. That's on record. I mean, it's in the new receiver show on Netflix that he bashed Jimmy Garoppolo, who obviously is not, the starter anymore. But bottom line is that I think that if I'm the Raiders, I might entertain an offer for Davante Adams, but man, you got to make it worth my while, because what's the harm in just keeping it? Like, the Jets would have to come on extremely strong for me to be interested in making a move for Adams.
I'll give you one. The Jets have 2 third-round picks, 1st and a 3rd this year for Davante Adams. Who says no to that?
I might even want something in 2026, maybe.
If I'm the Raiders, I wouldn't do that. So if I was the Jets and I came to, if you were the Raiders and I'm the Jets and I said a 1st and a 3rd this year for Davante Adams,
throw me another 3rd in 2026 and you've got a deal.
I won't.
Okay.
I won't.
Then I'll just keep Davante Adams. I mean, good luck.
Okay. And that's what'll be interesting, because I don't think the Raiders have much incentive to keep Davante Adams.
I don't think they have
doesn't
much
wanna be there.
incentive to trade him.
Well, if you're getting a 1st-round pick, I mean, he's not even worth a 1st-round pick, I don't think, at his age right now, historically speaking. That's a big haul for him. If you were to get even a 1st for an aging player like that, historically speaking, that would be a big coup for the Raiders. So are the Jets willing to go that high, or would they say a 2nd and a 3rd and then a 3rd down the road? Then I think you're getting into the territory of like, okay, well, is that worth it if you're the Raiders? I don't know. It's an interesting storyline and one to watch, because if he goes there, I do think it shifts things a little bit in the AFC. What about the Chiefs? I don't think it shifts them above the Chiefs by any means. They report to camp today. Patrick Mahomes, the rookies. What are we even looking for in training camp? We haven't really looked ahead to this point because so many things have been distracting this offseason away from this point, but they're there. So what do we need to see out of camp? We'll talk about that when we return. Sports Daily, hour number 2 coming your way. Football coverage, by the way, is brought to you by T-Mobile here on KFH. Switch to T-Mobile and you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Chiefs talk coming in the next hour. We'll give away some NBC World Series tickets as well. Stick with us. Sports Daily coming right back.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Hour number 2 of Sports Daily. Thanks for joining us here on KFH, on 12 News Connected, Facebook, YouTube, working on X, getting that connection back up going for you. We're glad to be here with you, however it is that you're listening to us, perhaps on the Odyssey app, which, by the way, if you're on your work and you want to keep listening to us, even after you park the car, the Odyssey app lets you do that, odyssey.com. Just download the app or visit odyssey.com, search KFH. to get started. Super easy. I listen to a lot of Royals games that way while I'm mowing the yard, for instance. We've got podcasted versions of the shows. If you missed our disappointed video game discussion off the top of the show, you can go back and join in that fun there. All right, Chiefs report to training camp, Tommy, unofficially, but officially. But training camp's kind of weird. But basically, it's quarterbacks and rookies day. Patrick Mahomes has jokes for Chris Jones, who says he can't wait for training camp. But he's like, oh, yeah, well, then you should report on July 16th. But, of course, the rest of the team reports later this week. Practices begin Sunday. Fans can get in starting Sunday. It's in St. Joe. I like training camp. Training camp is I don't know what you feel like the start of the next season is. I feel like it's training camp. So, it is sort of that moment. The Chiefs do a good job at training camp. They stay motivated for it. Remember Travis Kelce famously like getting in, scuffles and things. Like they're still passionate about it, I think. We'll see if that continues through this year. We haven't really talked a lot lately about like what things do we need to still learn about this team, when in reality there are probably quite a few. Mitch Holthus was with us last week and pointed at a couple of them, most notably the kickoff. They got to figure out the kickoff. They got to figure out who that, sort of next running back, who's going to be the Jerick McKinnon of this team. He is pretty confident in the pass catchers, which I do think you'd like to see Xavier Worthy. Hopefully he's healthy. I think that's what we watched this week, don't you, Tommy? Like Worthy is the storyline for the next couple of days because he tweaked his hammy, I think it was, in OTA. So is he back? Is he healthy? How much work can he get in with the rookies? I think that's what I would watch as much as anything. And then, of course, at left tackle, you potentially have a rookie starter there. I don't think that's out of the question either. So there probably are a lot of things to watch here over the next month or so at training camp.
I think it is left tackle for me first and foremost because, there are other, pieces at wide receiver. And of course, you want to have Xavier Worthy be at 100%. We still don't know what the status of Rashee Rice will be going into this season, but we know that Hollywood Brown is there. We know that, that he's going to be a key contributor offensively for the Chiefs. So it's not that I'm not concerned about the wide receiver room, but at least in training camp, I'm going to be fixated on left tackle because I want to know who the starter is going to be. I think that it's going to be unlikely that the Chiefs bring in anybody else at left tackle at this point, but they still could. And there still are some veteran left tackles out there, including Donovan Smith. I'm going to be interested to see at left tackle if they feel comfortable rolling with the couple of guys that they have. Will Wanya Morris get the start at left tackle? I mean, I don't think that he's, really in place to do that. So I don't know. I'm really going to be fixated on that particular position battle to see what they end up doing, if they like the guys that they have, or, if they pull a wild card and try to go bring somebody off the street here late in the offseason.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm again, and I go back to at left tackle, especially their evaluation of that position of offensive linemen lately has been, well, in rookie evaluation has been good, right? It's been such a strange journey to this point. They have tried now. What are we on? This would be attempt 4 at finding a left tackle. The 4th attempt at this. They've traded for a couple. They brought in Donovan Smith. They brought in Jawan Taylor initially. That didn't work. So then they put Donovan Smith there. So I think this is attempt 4 now to get this solved since Tampa busted them up in the Super Bowl, basically. And they just haven't been able to do it. And I think that this is as good an attempt as they've made. I like Wanya Morris. Can he be that guy? I don't know. But, I think he deserves a chance to grow as a player, certainly. And then they finally went out and they attacked the position through the draft. They were aggressive in doing it. They traded up to get a player they liked. So, I think that combination in reality is probably going to be better than what they've had. Is it, what is the ceiling versus the floor? If the floor can be somewhere near, I don't know, Orlando Brown, I guess, which is, average to a little above average in the NFL, I think is fair. I think that's a fair statement. then I think you're in good shape. I don't know what the ceiling is, but it makes me, when I think about left tackle, I think about Patrick Mahomes. And I think about how Patrick Mahomes has evolved a little bit as a passer too. We had the video game numbers early on, when you had Tyreek Hill and you had all the weapons and you had a really good offensive line and all these things. And then that has sort of taken some time post Tyreek Hill to get back in a groove. I think they've attacked wide receiver aggressively since. It didn't work, but going to get Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore and Rashee Rice, like, don't act like they haven't attacked the position. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, like they have been aggressive at the position, but I don't think they've ever put it together as well as they have post Tyreek Hill, than bringing in Hollywood Brown, then drafting a guy like Worthy, plus whatever you get out of Rice this year. If they can protect, if left tackle is just as good as it was a year ago, and I think there's plenty of room for it to be better with what they have, I think this could be a video game type number offensively for Mahomes again. That's why when Mitch Holthus tells us he thinks this defense could be better than a year ago, that's what floored me about that. I have come into this season, you can go back on the Odyssey app and find that interview, but Mitch Holthus told us he thought the defense could be better than it was a year ago. I have been of the full belief that there's no way it can be as good. So can the offense take the steps forward that the defense equivalently takes backward? If they're as good as they were a year ago, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be fantastic this year. I think Travis Kelce is going to be fantastic this year, because I think they've done so much to help those two take the pressure off of them. I mean, I think they become a clear favorite. If you can tell me the defense is even just as good as it was a year ago. Now, I don't know that I got to see that play out. And I respect what Mitch Holthus has to say, probably more than anybody when it comes to the Chiefs, because he's with them every day. But if that happens, my goodness, because I think the offense is going to be quite a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the Hollywood Brown acquisition, and I'm not talking about the draft, all the different players they drafted, I'm just talking about acquisitions in the offseason. Outside of Hollywood Brown, I mean, that was basically it. And so it's not like there were any kind of replacements that were brought in during the offseason from an acquisition point of view.
They didn't lose anybody offensively.
I'm talking about defensively. You didn't have a replacement for L'Jarius Sneed. You didn't have a replacement for Willie Gay Jr. It's all going to be internal. And that's fine, because I do know that, clearly there were some players that, that were able to get some playing time last year that produced at a high level. They love Chenal. They love Chenal. And I think that, I mean, obviously with what Chenal brought to the table, that made Willie Gay a little bit more expendable, made it easier to let him walk.
Willie Gay knew he was gone before they even got to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, he was already saying things like that. That was a foregone. Where did he go?
The Saints.
By the way,
he signed a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Saints. That's why it was surprising to me, because the Chiefs could have absolutely matched that. But that just shows how much they like Leo Chenal. And I think that also with L'Jarius Sneed, how much they like some of those other pieces that were behind L'Jarius Sneed in the secondary, and that are going to get more playing time. I think the nice thing defensively, and this is probably what Mitch Holthus was talking about when he was on our show and talking about how he thinks the defense might be better, is you kind of do have a little bit of the benefit of the doubt with the defense, because you're familiar with the players that are going to be stepping in to replace Sneed and Gay. They've been on the team. They're on the roster already. You've seen them in action in some cases in smaller sample sizes, but still you've seen what they've been able to do. And so it'd be a little bit different if you were completely bringing in brand new players to replace the ones that you lost. In a lot of cases, especially defensively, they're guys that you already know. And so that probably helps.
Furious George Karlaftis' growth is a big part of it. Chris Jones being healthy is a big part of it. It really does come down to, can you replace Sneed? If their pass rush grows, which it could and should, if Felix Anudike-Uzomah takes a step forward, which they need him to, then yeah, it softens that for Sneed a little bit. The defense is certainly something to watch. I think what corner works their way through. Again, it's not that I don't think the defense will be good. It's to hear that it could be better that made me like take a double take, because if that happens, And again, like the NFL season's impossible to predict anyway because it's so injury dependent and all these different things. Man, if they can be that good defensively again, I just like good luck because I think the offense is going to be way better with the players that are there now. I think Hollywood Brown is better than any receiver they had on the roster last year, including Rashee Rice, by the way. Rashee Rice is fine. Rashee Rice is a good player, but we don't know about him. But I think Hollywood Brown's better than all of them. And Worthy just needs to be better, than Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Like, if he can play that role and be better at that role, I mean, he certainly has the pedigree to do it. I think it lessens. Kelsey's going to be a big-time part of the offense. They brought back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's not enough for me because, we assume that Pacheco is not going to take, 300 carries or something crazy like that. But I just, when you look at it, and I think, again, I would bet you that Mahomes this will be the year Mahomes reminds us, like statistically. He reminds us all the time just when we watch the games. But statistically speaking, I think he's going to just have a stupid year. And if the defense is that good, like, is anybody there with that? How big of a favorite does that make them if the defense is that good? I think it makes them as big a favorite as we've had in a long time. Don't you? I mean, if you look back at going into Chiefs weren't even the favorite, by the way, going into last year. If you remember, it was the 49ers were the favorite. So if you consider all of that and you can tell me that the defense will be as good, I would tell you that they would be probably the biggest favorite we've had going, and they are the favorite this year.
I mean, they're the favorite until they don't win a Super Bowl.
They were. I'm talking about like legitimately like odds-on favorite because the Niners were the odds-on. Now we pondered about that a little bit. The road to do it was much easier for the Niners than it was the Chiefs. There could have been something, but remember the Chiefs weren't favored in the Super Bowl, so they weren't favored last year really in any capacity. They will be this year. I would imagine there won't be any games where they're an underdog this year. Even tough road games, if they're healthy, again, crazy things happen in the NFL, but if they're healthy, I don't think they'll be an underdog at any point this season. And I think the scary thing for the rest of the league is they're so equipped to handle that, right? They've been here so often now that none of that's that big a deal to them. Nothing is going to happen within this season that shakes them. We learned that last year, right? If last year didn't shake them, nothing that happens will shake them. They just got to get to the playoffs. That's it. And I think they're going to, what is their win total? I'm going to look that up because I'm sure the juice on it is really, really bad now. So it's probably not even worth taking. But I don't know how you don't see this as like a 14-win team minimum. If that defense was that good. Right now, the Chiefs are, where are you at? Kansas City? Sorry. They are 11.5, and it's only minus 115. 12 wins, 12-5. 12-5 at minus 115.
Yeah, I think I could get on board with that over.
They're going to win 12 games if they're healthy. Again, that's why it's always hard. But if Patrick Mahomes plays all the games, they're going to win 12 games.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm at this point willing to say that they're going to win 14. I mean, that's a pretty tall task for any team. I don't care if you've got Patrick Mahomes or not. I mean, that's a tall task in a 17-game season. They very easily could, but then just remember, their record last year, and they still won a Super Bowl. They didn't win the regular season games that they were expected to win in a lot of cases. Now they'll be, I think, a better offensive team. There's no doubt about that this year. But I think the only other thing offensively that I want to look at training camp and I want to see how it develops is what does the running game end up looking like? I mean, obviously you've got Pacheco, you've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. You do have a hole without Jerick McKinnon on the roster. And so is that, somebody else that is coming up, that an undrafted free agent or somebody like that you could bring in and put in, in place to be a reserve running back? Will they try to, make a small addition in the backfield through free agency? I don't think that's likely. I don't think any free agent signing is likely at this point for Kansas City, but I am interested to know, are they going to try to have a little bit more reinforcements at the running back position? They should, because Isaiah Pacheco, I think, is prone to injury, and I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire has shown he's prone to injury. So having some reinforcements there, I think, is an important thing.
They've got enough different things happening offensively that I was worried about that big time last year. I'm not as worried about it this year because I think they could survive without running the ball. I don't think they want to do that, but I think they could do that. I think they could be just fine just throwing it 50 times if they had to. I don't think they want to put Mahomes at that kind of risk, but they could if they needed to in any individual game. It's not, I don't have, like, I am so confident that their offense will be better. I don't even think that's a question. Their offense will be better. Even if Rashee Rice misses significant time, their offense will be better. They didn't lose anything of significance. Nothing. I mean, left tackle with Donovan Smith, but Wanya Morris was there last year anyway. So now you've got a high draft capital and Morris back. Like, I don't think they've gotten worse, Tommy, at any spot. Like, any spot on the offense, I don't think is worse. That's never been the question for me. The question for me has been that team won last year because of its defense in spite of its offense, right?
Yeah.
If we really remember to when things were going poorly, they were winning in spite of their offense. And I know that seems crazy to say because it's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, but that's absolutely what was happening. They were making mistakes. They couldn't figure it out. Mahomes was pressing. Kelce was pressing. Like, they were winning because of their defense. I have not gone into this season at all thinking they could do that again. Like, they could win because of their defense again. It hasn't mattered as much because I think their offense is so much better than it was a year ago. But if you put them both together, that's where I think you look at one of those special kinds of seasons that we have from time to time. And if they stay healthy, they're going to just be so hard to beat if their defense is as stingy as it was a year ago. What do they need at that point? 3 touchdowns a game? 3 touchdowns a game offensively?
Yeah.
Who's scoring 21 on them if their defense is as good?
Yeah. And, it's funny, though, because you say 3 touchdowns a game kind of nonchalantly, and I get that.
I know that's a difficult.
That was a struggle last season. Now, will it be a struggle this year? I don't think so quite as much, but man, getting to that point, that was a struggle at times last year.
It was. You got to consider kicking too. It's not just touchdowns. You got to add field goals to it, which unless this offseason rattles Harrison Butker, and who knows, because kickers are fickle. I mean, he was the best in the business a year ago. So, if he's getting you a field goal or 2 a game, if they get to 20, again, if they get to 20 and that's all it takes because the defense is that good, then that's going to be hard to hold them to 20 because I think their offense is significantly better than it was a year ago. And I think it's better than it was 2 years ago. I think this will be the best post Tyreek Hill offense. And I don't think it's particularly close. And that's even assuming Rashee Rice is suspended for a significant amount of time because I think he will be ultimately. I think that highly of Hollywood Brown. I think that highly of, Xavier Worthy has to be better than what you were getting out of Tony and Sky Moore. Has to be. I mean, it's hard to imagine he won't be. Now, again, health matters. And, oh, by the way, they still have those 2 guys. Like, they're still sitting there. They draft a tight end that everybody's in love with. The only question is left tackle. That's it. That's the only question. And that can be a big problem. But I don't think it will be. I think if it's Wanya Morris at worst, they'll be fine. They'll at least be as good as they were at that spot a year ago. So I'm excited about it. And we'll, camp is going to be, again, I think the 2 things to watch for in camp. Well, I'm going to tell you 4 things that I'll be watching for at training camp. Let's take a quick break. I'll give you 4 things I think will be significant to the ceiling of this team. Again, training camp starts today. Rookies and quarterbacks report. I know that it snuck up on me for sure. The full training camp starts this weekend. Here we go. We'll come back. We'll continue the discussion. It's Sports Daily on KFH. It's Albrocht and Caster. By the way, this portion of the program brought to you by Crestview Country Club. Been maybe a little toasty. Get out there and swing it. Not for the rest of the week. It's going to be nice golfing weather here. Maybe a little wet, maybe a little rain, which we'll take after a heat wave like that. One more hot day today. But if you want to check out Crestview, 2 courses, 36 holes you can play, plus all the other stuff, which we use, the pool. My wife plays tennis there all the time. Nice restaurant, great bar. Give them a call. Check it out. Tell them we sent you from Sports Daily. We're coming right back. More Chiefs talk next.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back, everybody. IHOP Hotline's open for you at 869-1240. This is Sports Daily here on KFH. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Caster with you on a Tuesday. We're talking Chiefs. Begin training camp today. Rookies, quarterbacks report. I'm going to give you 4 things to watch for in training camp. Otherwise, I think it'll be pretty much business as usual. And you could tell me if I'm missing anything. I think left tackle is first and foremost. I think Xavier Worthy is certainly specifically something to watch. The second corner, who steps up behind Trent McDuffie, and Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Can he step up with his high draft capital and be a contributing starter on this team? This would be about the 4 things I'd look for. Otherwise, stay healthy, right? And just implement all the new things with the new gadgets and toys that they have on offense. But I think that's all standard. I think those other 4 specific things will be about the only needle movers for me.
I totally am on board with all of that. I mean, I think that really the major thing, I mean, you mentioned left tackle, you mentioned Xavier Worthy. I would expand that to just say, how is the deep ball worked back into the Kansas City Chiefs offense now that you've got Hollywood Brown? And then obviously with what Xavier Worthy brings to the table and, his yards after catch and, all of the different skills that he brings, I would kind of expand upon that a little bit. Absolutely the secondary after Trent McDuffie, what that looks like. And then you say Felix Anudike-Uzomah, I would maybe swap that out. I'm not as concerned about that necessarily as my number 4. I would put what they're going to do with reinforcements at the running back position. That would be my number 4. And then FAU, can he develop into a starting outside linebacker for the Chiefs? I would put that after that. I mean, I think it'd still probably be in the top 5 of what I'm looking for, but I would definitely go running back over Felix Anudike-Uzomah.
Well, wait, I mean, don't you think they still see him as a bookend defensive end? You think they have him as an outside?
Well, no, that's what
linebacker?
I misspoke. As a defensive end, not as an outside linebacker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because there was that thought of him coming out that maybe he could play that position.
Right.
I do think it's important. That's a high draft
I think it's
pick.
important too. I would rather see what their reinforcements are going to look like from a running back position perspective than what they're going to do with Felix Anudike-Uzomah, because we already know what they're going to do with him.
Well, but I think him being good will be far more impactful to the team than the backup running back being good. I do think, and I don't think this about every team. So I am not on board with the running backs don't have value. I think they have tremendous value depending on what the team is. I think it's less important for the Chiefs now. They basically need a running back who can catch passes and not fumble the ball in the fourth quarter.
Right.
That's what they need a running back for. I mean, that's it. That's what they've got to have. You don't fumble the ball and you catch passes when you need to. Because Isaiah Pacheco is going to take care of the late work for you. Who can spell him? Who can keep him to about 15 carries a game, right? And let him be your closer. Because I do think they'll throw it more this year. Why wouldn't they? Right? The roster tells you they should, at least while you have Brown, Worthy, Rice, Tony, Sky Moore, Travis Kelce, maybe the rookie tight end, maybe Clyde Edwards. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous, the number of pass catchers they have now. You need 3 of those guys to be good. And Patrick Mahomes will have games where he probably has 8 or 9 different guys catch passes. I don't think they need to run the ball as much this year as they did last year. I don't think it's like as big a need because I think you can trust the passing game just a little bit more. Patrick Mahomes will put up big, big, big numbers this year. I think Travis Kelce might too. Can't decide on that. Can't decide if I want to make that call yet. But Patrick Mahomes will. Patrick Mahomes will have, let me just pull it up. Let me just pull up real quick his numbers from the past couple of years. Because I think his numbers this year will be the best they have been. What year would that be? In 22, I mean, he had ridiculous numbers in 22. So I probably shouldn't say he'll be better than 22. But if we're looking back, that first year, 50 touchdowns, then 26, then 38, 37, 41, then just 27 last year. I'll bet he's north of 40 again. and I'll put him at least 4,800 yards. I bet he's how would I even predict this? Let's say he goes 4,900 yards and 45 touchdowns and fewer interceptions, like 10 interceptions. I just think his numbers are going way up this year. So I don't think the running back room needs to be as much as they needed it to be last year because they just couldn't find their groove in the pass game. That seem fair?
Yeah, I'm not. That's not the reason why I would focus on that. And again, remember, I'm not saying that's the number one focus in training camp. I've got it as like my number 5 priority, or number 4 priority to look at, under some of the other big things that we've talked about already. But it's not that I feel like they're going to need to lean on the running game more than last year, and that's why the focus should be on that. It's because the 2 guys that they have at the top of the depth chart are probably going to get injured at one point or another this season.
It's if they get injured at the same time.
Right. And that's the way that Isaiah Pacheco runs. We know that. That's well documented. It's prone to injury. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been injured a lot in his career as an NFL running back. And so you just know the shelf life of these running backs and the way that it typically works. And I was surprised, and I think you were too, that the Chiefs re-signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire instead of letting him walk. They brought him back. So at that point, it's like, okay, you definitely, I think, feel like he can have a solid role. Like he can be a key contributor, at least in the running game for Kansas City this year. But I'm not sure that you can just go into the season feeling comfortable with, all right, we've got Pacheco and CEH, and that's it. And we'll be fine for 17 games in the regular season and then through the playoffs. I think you've got to try to at least establish what are some other options that we might have behind them.
Don't you think, though, that bringing Clyde Edwards-Helaire back should tell us something about what they think about that room? I think they just they basically here's how I imagine they see that room. Don't screw it up is kind of it, right? Like just don't screw this up, right? Don't try to do too they know exactly what Clyde Edwards-Helaire is, which is probably why they were like, you know what, let's just bring him back. We know what he is, we know what we need. He can give us that. Like he's not going to wow us, but he's not going to screw things up. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they are.
I think it might be a little bit of that, but I also think a little bit of it is we gave a first-round draft pick to get you, and so we want to try to do everything in our power to get as much life out of you as we possibly can. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that there would have been much of a market for CEH outside of the Chiefs. Somebody maybe would have brought him in to be a backup guy or a change of pace.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been
wouldn't have been a market for him. They could have easily just cut him, and he might have been out of football, honestly.
Well, they didn't have to cut him. They brought him back.
They could have. I meant cut him loose. Like they could have been like, we're not going to re-sign you. Yeah, we're not going to re-sign you, and he probably would have been out. I believe that. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's more of, hey, don't screw it up, as man, we invested quite a bit to get you. So
I don't think they care because they're going for their 3rd straight Super Bowl. I don't think they have to defend themselves anymore.
Not saying
about Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I don't think it's an external defending of it. I think it's more of like an internal, shoot, we got to make sure we get our money's worth out of that draft pick.
And in fairness to that pick, which was a bad pick, they for as much as the value of that pick has not worked, they've at least equaled that in how much value they've gotten out of Isaiah Pacheco, right? So there's been the yin and the yang on that particular thing. I think he knows it. They knew they didn't have to pay a bunch of money for him, and I just don't think they'll value the position and lean into it as much as they did a year ago. I think they're going to redesign things a little bit, and they're going to throw it more. I think they're absolutely going to throw it more. Think about it. You have now, and you know what else we haven't really thought about, but is very likely coming, is how they use Kadarius Toney, right? Like, how do you utilize the guy that they still will tell you is one of the more electric after the catch guys, which that's not just the Chiefs being stubborn. Like, he's always been thought of that way, but they've got the ability to use him in a different way to limit his mistakes too. right? Imagine things like the don't line up offsides play, right? Like what can you do to utilize his skill set? I would say Sky Moore, the ship maybe has sailed to some degree. He's a nice depth piece, but Kadarius Toney probably still has some value somewhere. He doesn't have to be your, what does he need? Like you're looking at, he's going to be behind the depth
receiver,
chart.
maybe.
Right. He's going to be behind the depth chart just at receiver behind Rice, Brown, Worthy, just at receiver. Then if you're talking about pass catching options, he's going to be behind those guys and Kelsey and maybe a rookie tight end and your running back.
Don't forget, they also brought back McCole Hardman. So, I mean,
he is a gadget player.
I would almost put Hardman above Toney on the depth chart.
I just think Toney's a whole lot better. So, but
I think Toney is a lot more athletic. I don't know if I want to say Toney's a lot better.
You know what I mean? Toney's upside is far higher. We'll call it that.
His downside is probably far lower.
It's way lower. Although Hardman has some downside there too. Hardman, I think, is there for his return ability, and maybe that's where Toney's value comes. I don't know if he can be a kick returner as much as punt return, but I'd sure try. That's where I'd use him first and foremost. That's another thing about this too. We got to get Mitch back on. We owe Mitch another conversation on that, especially now with training camp, about what he has seen in the kicking game. Because as we were ending our conversation with him last week, he was like blown away by how impactful this is going to be and how the Chiefs are attacking it. Like major impacts back to the way it used to be. Which is why I think the NFL is doing the right thing here. And that's not ever seeing this thing play out in real time. I can't wait to see it. But I would love for the return game to be a bigger part of football. It's the most exciting play in football. There's nothing more exciting than punt or kick returns for touchdowns. That's what made prime time. That's what made Dante Hall, Devin Hester, like some of the all-time legendary, exciting players, just because they were great return men. So I'm glad that's coming back too. Maybe Toney helps you there. I think Hardman certainly will try to. But the point of all of that is, think about how far down the depth chart now your second and third receivers from last year going into the year are. I mean, they are way down. And really, that might have been your first and second receiver last year going into the season. And they didn't know Rashee Rice was going to be as good as he was. You probably looked at Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney as your starters. Those guys are now.
I think you did. I mean, you looked
at worst, they're your fourth and fifth just receivers.
I mean, if memory serves, and I don't know. I'd have to go back and look and see, what the early training camp
snap counts,
snap counts, and even depth chart that the Chiefs put out, what it looked like.
Right?
Wasn't it like MVS, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore? Like what? I think that was 1, 2, and 3.
I mean, it certainly wasn't Rashee Rice yet.
No,
it's just I can't get over how much better I think that group is going to be this year. They're going to sling the rock. Fantasy football players, Tommy, close your ears because we're in the same league. If Mahomes slips at all this year because everyone wants a running quarterback, take Mahomes. Like to me, last year he was obviously overdrafted. He didn't deliver on that. Let him fall and then swoop him up because I think his numbers are going to be stupid again this year. 869-1240, the IHOP hotline. We'll come back. We'll talk a little more Royals, perhaps, as we get ready to focus in on the All-Star games tonight, but I think we're focused in on the trade deadline. Let's be real. Anybody out there that would be a wish list kind of guy for the Royals that's attainable, obviously. We'll talk about that when we return.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it. It's just tea. but let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Daily on KFH. Glad to be here with you, Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor. We've been talking Chiefs training camp for you there. Let's set up our giveaway for the second hour, NBC World Series tickets. You can win some of those tickets. All you got to do is text the keyword strike to 20357. Each entry will give you the chance to win a pair of tickets to one of the games out at the NBC World Series. Message and data rates apply. That's strike to 20357. Good luck, everybody, there as we're making our way through. All-Star game tonight. Tommy, do you take any pride in the winner of the All-Star game? Did we break the streak here on Major League Baseball recently? I think we did. We'll take a look at that. I do take some pride in it. I think that, I think that I want the American League to win. Both the teams that I follow play in the American League. That helps. But you're a Braves guy. Do you take like a National League pride
I've
at all?
always been a National League guy. In all the years, it's a little bit different now that every team is playing every other team. So there's really no separation between the leagues for the most part. But yeah, back in the day, if my Braves weren't in the World Series, which they were a lot, when I was a kid, but when they weren't, I was always going for the National League. I really, supported them and cheered for them more than anybody else.
You guys finally came around and got the designated hitter. So, look, at least you got that. So the National League won it last year. Before that, the American League was on a 9-game win streak since 2013. The American League has dominated recent history in the All-Star game, as it should be. But hey, you guys got one last year. Congratulations. But I do take pride in it.
I want the American League to the All-Star game. Like, are you going to be locked into it?
Not anymore. Not anymore. I used to watch every second of it. It was one of my favorite events. But those were the days where we didn't have cable television. You were kind of bound to the networks, and it would be on Fox. And as a kid, I wanted to see like the one Ranger that would make it every year because they sucked. And I watched it all. I watched the whole thing. I loved and I still really like it. No, I'm not as locked in as I used to be.
Yeah, I was watching. It was during the Home Run Derby last night, and what I loved everything about it. What I really loved, obviously, Bobby Witt Jr. Not only him, but then you had the other Royals representatives that were there cheering him on. And they were Lugo and Reagans and obviously Salvi. Like, they were all there with him. And I got kind of nostalgic, and I started thinking about back in the day, 20 years ago, when the Royals were so bad all the time, year in and year out, and they would have like that one lone representative in the All-Star game, and usually they weren't even any good, but they had to have somebody in the All-Star game. Like, I remember Ken Harvey was the Royals lone representative 20 years ago. He was awful. They had, what was that? The pitcher, Mike Redman, I think, was the Royals lone representative one year. Like, it was so
the Rangers
bad.
At least usually had like a slugger.
Yeah, and then I'm like watching, and it was, when they were really bad, like it was maybe a reliever that would get in. They would grab like one of the bullpen pieces to just be the All-Star. I know Mike Sweeney got to be an All-Star a few times, so that was good, but he was on some really, really bad teams. But it was just like night and day different, like thinking about then to now, and you've got like a legitimate superstar in Bobby Witt Jr. and an icon and a legend in Salvador Perez, and two top-tier pitchers that are all in the All-Star game together representing this team. And that was fun it wasn't fun to think back about those really lean years, but it was cool to kind of contrast the way that it was to now.
I think that's, as much as anything, it's that kind of thing that adds to the urgency. And I know we were going to do a wish list at the trade deadline, but we just ran out of time. We'll do it tomorrow. But it adds to the urgency of why it is important that they're aggressive, because there have been too many years like that. And you began to get this sense in the last 4 or 5 years that it was going to happen again, right? You had the great World Series runs, including a World Series championship, and they stayed competitive for another year. And then it just kind of started to feel again like, my God, like this is going to happen to them again. They're going to have this stretch like where they don't have any chance or any hope or anything like that. And so this year they get this rare, at least in recent history, chance to break away from it. That's why, as much as anything else, I think that's why they have to be aggressive and take advantage of this moment right now.
Yeah. So Mark Redman, by the way, was the Royals representative in 2006. His ERA that year, 5.35. He was their All-Star representative in 2006.
Not bad.
Well, that's a 5.35 ERA. Come on now. He ranks up there in a bunch of lists as far as like the worst All-Star game selection of all time.
It's terrible. It's terrible. We're there. It's the All-Star break. We'll watch the game tonight. We'll at least try to keep up with it anyway. I won't be as locked. I said it earlier. I'm not going to be as locked in as I was for the Home Run Derby because I was locked into the Home Run Derby last night. I loved it. I thought it was so good. And Bobby Witt Jr. and Alec Boehm and those guys were a big part of that. But it'll be interesting tonight. Look, we know Lugo's not going to get the start now, and that we kind of hope for that. Now I'm kind of glad he's not going to get the start. So all of that's there. It's all there for you. We'll be back to talk about it tomorrow. We'll go through our trade deadline wish list tomorrow as well. That's really when it's the Wednesday and Thursday before games start. So we're going to get creative over the next couple of days and have some fun. But we'll be coming back. We'll have day one of Chiefs training camp to talk about too. It's all coming for you. We'll come back. We'll tell you what's on the network today when we return on Sports Day.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
when you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
calm before the storm, before we get full on in training camps in the NFL and things get absolutely crazy. You can go back and listen to anything you missed today on the Odyssey app. Thanks for tuning in here on KFH or the Odyssey app, or watching us on 12 News Connected. All the different ways you can take in the show. We'll be back here for it tomorrow. It's regular Infinity Sports Network programming on the network today, including Bob and Jeff, 2 to 4 here locally. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow. More giveaways, more fun. For Tommy, for Jad, I'm Jacob. See you then.